and that's probably their best song, at least best one by them that I've heard. And it's on a purple vinyl 12-inch, if you can get that. And before that we had Massive Attack with Unfinished Sympathy from their Blue Lines LP. The weather this afternoon, sunny and pleasant. Well, I hope it was. Tonight, clear, low 65 to 70. Then tomorrow it'll be sunny, becoming partly cloudy, and warmer, high in the upper 80s. It's time for the ABC Network News.
Direct from ABC News, I'm Bill Fantini. Gays in the U.S. military. Ohio Democrat Howard Metzenbaum today proposed a bill in the Senate that would overturn the Defense Department ban. The Department of Veterans Affairs said today it'll ask Congress to change laws to make more Desert Storm vets eligible for outpatient care to keep track of their health after the Gulf War. The Reuters news service says a check of recently released documents shows top U.S. officials started closing the books on the possibility of POWs being held in Laos as early as 1973, less than a month after considering military action to rescue them. UN inspectors were admitted today to the Ministry of Agriculture building in Baghdad to search for weapons info. But New Jersey Democratic Rep. Robert Torricelli, for one, says he doesn't think the situation with Saddam has been diffused for the long haul.
By agreeing to some of Saddam's concessions, we may, in fact, fuel his obstinance. To take George Bush at his own words, one does not appease an aggressor. And yet the administration has agreed to Saddam's conditions that Americans not be involved in the searching of the agricultural ministry.
The administration says it's holding all options open for future dealings with Iraq. The recent amendment to make more middle-income families eligible for federal help-paying college tuitions is already facing changes from a bill passed today in the House.
Sponsors say many more students are applying for government grants than there is money in the budget to pay for them. The result is this House bill sets the maximum college grant next year at $2,300. That's less than this year's figure and a lot less than the $3,700 a year allowed by a higher education bill signed into law by the president.
That's ABC's Vic Ratner in Washington. 1 month after performing the baboon-to-human liver transplant, doctors in Pittsburgh today upgraded the patient's condition from serious to fair. Powerful rally on Wall Street. The Dow shot up nearly 52 points today. Rapper Ice-T announced today that he has convinced Time Warner to pull his controversial record Cop Killer from distribution. He also says the message of his music about intense anger among young blacks has been misunderstood.
I didn't say, let's go cop killing. You know, that's not the record. I just showed them that people are that crazy and mad. They should take this record as a warning and go tell their friends that people ain't gonna take this much longer. Now, if I had been quiet and stuff had hit the fan, then somebody said, why didn't somebody tell us that people were that mad?
Ice-T says he will from now on give Cop Killer away for free at his concerts. Federal Trade Commission today issued guidelines that would require companies to back up claims that their goods are recyclable or environmentally friendly. For the ABC Direction Network, I'm Bill Fantini.
Picture a pile of dirty clothes, 10 feet high and 15 feet across. Half a ton of sweaty socks, grass-stained jeans, and grubby T-shirts. That's how much laundry you'll be washing this summer. Now picture it all clean, all the way clean with Whisk. Whisk laundry detergent actually breaks down the adhesive bonds that lock in dirt and stains. To clean a summer full of discs, you'd better stock up on Whisk, Whisk, Whisk.
Now, honestly, somewhere between the evening news and your favorite reruns, you've got some spare time, right? Well, if you'll spend some of that time with a National Dynamics language program, we'll have you speaking and understanding Spanish, French, Italian, German, or Japanese in 30 days. No books, no classes. Just our audio tapes in your home, car, or portable cassette player. Call this number today, 1-800-545-1985. That's 1-800-545-1985. Now, really, how many reruns can you watch?
The Cranes formed like 1988, I think, and started putting out stuff around 1989 or 1990. And recently they were supporting The Cure on tour, I saw, slightly to my amazement. This is one of their, I think it's their first EP, or one of their first anyway, Inescapable.
Wow. Washington, here on WPRB Princeton.
I don't know what to think.
was a band that was obviously a derivative of Ride to begin with, but they kind of still grow on me. The Catherine Wheel, and one of their early 12 inches, She's My Friend, when they were still on Wild Club Records. Now they've got a deal with Fontana, and they've got an album released over here as well. Before that, Passion Flower Hotel with Singing in Circles. That's their one and only release as far as I know, but a good one. The Slits with Man Next Door. That's another track from the Wanna Buy a Bridge compilation from many years ago, an immortal compilation, which is why I keep on playing so much stuff from it. And Cranes with Inescapable from an EP of the same name. 9 minutes past 9 on WPRB FM 1033. This is Totally Wired. My name's Christian, and I have 51 minutes to go of Totally Wired, and I'll never be on the air again. Well, maybe that's not quite true, but just about true. So, better get playing some music. Here's another of my one of the things I liked a lot last year and the year before. This is The Orb and the ambient mix of Little Fluffy Clouds.
Over the past few years, to the traditional sounds of an English summer, the drone of lawnmowers, the smack of leather on willow, has been added a new noise.
What were the skies like when you were young?
They went on forever. We lived in Arizona, and the skies always had little fluffy clouds in them. They were long and clear, and there were lots of stars at night. And when it would rain, it would alter. They were beautiful, the most beautiful skies, as a matter of fact. The sunsets were purple and red and yellow and on fire, and the clouds would catch the colors everywhere. It's neat, because I used to look at them all the time when I was little. You don't see that.
Layering different sounds on top of each other.
You don't see that little. There are lots of stars at night. The sunset purple and red and yellow on fire, and the clouds would catch the colors everywhere. That's neat, because I used to look at them all the time when I was little. You don't see that. You might still see them in the desert.
WPRB Princeton!
I heard it said there's going to be a
Emergency stop.
Carter, who seem to have dropped the Unstoppable Sex Machine bit, and that was from their new album 1992, the Love album, a song called Look Mum No Hands. Greenhouse before that with Ban the Car from their album Denser, The Jazz Butcher with Big Saturday from Bloody Nonsense, and The Orb with Little Fluffy Clouds featuring Ricky Lee Jones, that's it. And that's actually from a compilation I have called Give Peace a Dance. It's 24 minutes past 9 o'clock. WPRB wants you to know that the William Patterson College Speech Hearing Clinic offers low-cost services to New Jersey residents. They offer diagnostic and therapy services to children with delayed language and speech development, adults or children with speech deficits or vocal problems, stroke victims, stutterers, laryngectomy patients, and those with speech disorders resulting from cleft palate, cerebral palsy, hearing impairment, or neurological disorders. Nothing about DJs. For additional information about clinic services, please call Catherine Gore at 201-595-2207. This has been a public service announcement from WPRB. The Family Cat has a new album out, and this is not actually from that album, but you'll find a version, if not the same exact track, on it. This is called Colour Me Grey.
So pour yourself just you and me. Don't have anything to do at all. Shall we go out tonight? Will that be alright? Shall we search for our fortune and fame, for oil or peaceful waters? Are we things to say?
Ned's Atomic Dustbin, of course, with Terminally Groovy, and that's from their Ingredients EP. And, well, I think one of their very first releases. Scorpio Rising by Request, just before that, with Bliss, and that's from an EP on Chapter 22 Records, an import. From the EP was called The Strangest Things Turn You On. The Diagram Brothers, favourites of John Peel, with the title track from their Discordo EP. Starting off with The Family Cat and Colour Me Grey. 20 minutes to 10 o'clock. 20 minutes I've got left on the radio. So, here are the Venus Beads, Treading Water.
Contact once again, fighting
says it all. She's lost control. And she's clinging to the nearest passerby. She's lost control. And she gave away the secrets of her past and said, I've lost control again. And of a voice that told her when and where to act, she said, I've lost control again.
ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, so life is kinda really hard, really hard. So ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, life is kinda really hard, really hard. From the day I left my fatherland, ever since we've been tramped along. One life must be so hard. Oh, sit down at the yard and praise Rasta. Take your pick, but mama, brother, right to culture. Say which one is better. Well, I'm rather sing about just culture. I'm telling you it's harder. So this one is better. Yes, I'm rather sing about just culture. I'm telling you life's really hard, girl. Girl, your money can buy 2 diamonds and gold, but the blessing of Jah worth more than gold. Silver and gold will vanish away, but the blessing of faith can never decay. This one is better, for it's pure like silver, whiter than the snow. I'm telling you it's time, you know. This world would be better, for it's pure like silver, whiter than the snow. I'm telling you it's harder. Oh, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, so life is kinda really hard.
That's the Duffel Coats with Uncertain from the Wah CD. Natural Vibes with Life Harder Yard from the King Jammy Roots and Harmony, the volume 1 of the 3. And New Fast Automatic Daffodils with Penguins from the Pigeonhole CD. Joy Division with She's Lost Control from Unknown Pleasures. And Venus Beads with Treading Water from the Incision CD. This is WPRB Princeton. This has been Totally Wired for the last 2 hours, for the last 3 hours, and for the last 2 years. My name's Christian, and well, that's my last show. Thanks to everybody who's called up and ever said they liked the show. And, well, maybe I'll be on WPRB again sometime in the next few months, few years, at odd times when old people come back to the station. It's been fun, and thanks to everybody who's been helpful. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite tracks from last year. So goodbye to everybody. This is PJ Harvey and Dress. Bye.
Well, I'm sad to say that's it for Totally Wired, but here's What the Folk. That's J.D. Crowe in the New South, sort of a super group that he put together of some very hot young players many years ago who have all gone on to great things. People like Tony Rice, Jared Douglas, Ricky Skaggs. Household names these days, but I guess they weren't when that was put out. That was Nashville Blues, usually a song you hear sung, but there was an instrumental version. You are listening to What the Folk. We're starting off with Bluegrass, as always, tonight, and we'll be hearing, let's see, after Bluegrass, which maybe won't be a full hour tonight, we'll be hearing a strange set of sort of world music. Don't cringe when I say that. It's not too strange. It's world music from a sort of folk perspective, I guess. And we'll hear some Celtic music as well later on in the show, as well as some singer-songwriters. And I've got a few new things to tide us over. Here's a bluegrass band from out west, Colorado, I believe, Front Range.
Guessing game. I need you as a friend and as a lover, but it won't mean much if you don't feel the same. Why don't you leave me, baby? It's hard to go, but harder still to stay. I just can't please you, baby. Maybe we should go our separate ways. But I don't dare ask questions. I'm afraid to hear what you might have to say. It's not that I believe you found another, but I know you will if we don't change someday. Why don't you leave me, baby? I can't believe the crazy things you say. I just can't please you, baby. Maybe we should go our separate ways. Reason to be near me. Now more and more I spend my nights alone. I'm calling for you, babe, but you don't hear me. And we can't hold on to a love that's gone. Why don't you leave me, baby? I don't believe you love me anyway. I just can't please you, baby. Maybe we should go our separate ways.
He was a panhandle prince, a schoolboy football king. They used to tell him high in the halls 'cause he could run them balls, but it was rumor down deep he was mean. He dated high-toned girls with frosted pom-pom curls, but he never give out his ring. He was the best of the best, he met the gridiron test, and there ain't nothing as American and clean. He was the pride of the backfield, oh, the hero of his day. He carried the ball for the red and blue, they won District AAA. And his name made all the papers as the best they'd ever had. So nobody understood it when the great Joe Bob went bad. First he lost his scholarship to Texas Tech for drinking during training and breaking the coach's neck. And then he got suspended for acting obscene around the cum laude daughter of the dean. Then he met up with a waitress. Her name was Luce Ruby Cole. While she was hopping tables down down at the hidey-ho. And he met her on the slide when her daddy weren't around. But he stopped making yardage when he started messing around. He was the pride of the backfield, oh, the hero of his day. He carried the ball for the red and blue. They won District AAA. And his name made all the papers as the best they'd ever had. So nobody understood it when the great Joe Bob went bad. Well, it spread like country wildfire. Something big had gone all strange. Joe Bob, the greatest halfback, started acting half deranged. He'd been seen out with a woman, getting drunk and having fun. He growed his hair, give up prayer, says football days are done. Then he and old Loose Ruby robbed a Pinky's liquor store. They had a run-in with the law when they was running out the door. And Joe Bob's fate was sealed for the next century. He traded in the pigskin for the penitentiary. He was the pride of the backfield, oh, the hero of his day. He carried the ball for the red and blue. They won District AAA. And his name made all the papers as the best they'd ever had. So nobody understood it, nobody comprehended when the great Joe Bob went bad.
I can't eat and I can't sleep. All I do is sit and cry and listen for your footsteps at my door. I keep asking myself why did you ever said goodbye? And I guess I've cried a million tears or more. Oh my mind, oh my mind, you're always in my heart and on my mind. Once I thought my love would die, darling, here's what I find. You're always in my heart
Got some fancy picking there from Glenda Faye on her album Flat Pickin' Favorites. We heard the often played Beaumont Rag. Before that, Nashville Bluegrass Band from their album My Native Home. We heard On My Mind. Little Story of the Great Joe Bob from the Country Gazette from their album American and Clean. And we start off with Front Range, a Western bluegrass band, doing Why Don't You Leave Me Baby from their album The New Frontier. I believe they're touring out east here, so you might be able to catch them somewhere. Before we get moving on to some more bluegrass, WPRB wants you to know that MCOS Nursing Services, that's MCOSS, is offering free information on living wills. By having a living will, your individual health care choices will be respected if you cannot speak for yourself in case of an accident or illness. For more information, please call 1-800-663-9500. This has been a public service announcement from WPRB. We're going to continue now with one of the great traditional bluegrass bands out there. I say they're sort of together. You see them cropping up now and again. The Johnson Mountain Boys.
You went away to leave me here to find somebody new. You're happy now with your new love, and I'm alone and blue. The shadows are creeping around my door. The sun will soon go down. The night birds are crying away on the mountain from the bluest man in You took away the love we knew. You wrecked our happy home. You left me with a broken heart, so blue and all alone. The shadows are creeping around my door. The sun will soon go down. The night birds are crying away on the mountain from the bluest man in The shadows are creeping around my door. The sun will soon go down. The night birds are crying away on the mountain. I'm the bluest man in town. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to do you a song now that we've been carrying around with us for
That's an all-woman bluegrass supergroup called Blue Rose, featuring such folk as Kathy Fink, Lori Lewis, Marcy Marxer, Molly Mason, and Sally Van Meter. People you're no doubt aware of, being involved in various other projects. Actually, many of them have their own bands. That's a real nice record called Blue Rose. I guess the band is sort of called Blue Rose, as is the album. We heard Careless Whisper from them. A little bluegrass harmonica before that. The Dixie Flyers did the Don Valley Backstep, a little song about famous valley that runs through the center of Toronto. That's from their record Light, Medium, and Heavy. We started off with the Johnson Mountain Boys, something live from their album At the Old Schoolhouse. We heard The Bluest Man in Town. We'll continue on with some bluegrass right after this.
Had just bought a brand new Cutlass Sierra. After all, our kids are grown up, haven't even asked to borrow from the old mom and pop savings and loan lately, so we figured, great, at last, just the two of us cruising down the highway of life. Then we realized we were missing something. The grandkids. We couldn't fit all of them in our Sierra, but luckily, we had a solution.
Guaranteed satisfaction. Just one part of the Oldsmobile Edge. The most complete commitment to owner satisfaction in the industry.
Our dealer let us exchange our Sierra and gave us full credit towards another new Oldsmobile, a Silhouette minivan. No questions asked. It's a true story. You know, there's a difference in car companies today. Oldsmobile has the edge.
It's guaranteeing your satisfaction for 30 days or 1,500 miles, whichever comes first. It's the confidence that comes standard at no extra cost with every new Oldsmobile. Call 1-800-524-EDGE for a free brochure or see your dealer for details. The Oldsmobile Edge. Complete owner care from the power of intelligent engineering.
The weather in the WPRB listening area. Tonight's going to be clear. Low in the mid to upper 60s with some light winds. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will start off sunny, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon with a slight chance of a late day or evening shower or thunderstorm. It'll be a little warmer, high in the upper 80s. And moving into tomorrow night, partly cloudy with, again, low in the upper 60s to around possibly 70 degrees. We're going to continue on with bluegrass. We have the news coming up at 10 before the hour, and we'll probably have enough bluegrass to take us up to that point. Then after the news, let's see, maybe we'll hear a little country music. Don't want to make the transition to the rest of the show too harsh for you. And then maybe hear some sort of strange things from around the world. But right in our own backyard, here's a song.